We're going to kick the second half off. John, you want to come on up?
Sure.
Michael, you want to come on up? So, when I was in New Orleans, when we were there for a month in April, May, I started writing a series of poems based on various streets in New Orleans, trying to capture their history and their contemporary feel. And it was going along really well. And then Royal Street happened. And this is the result. Now, I need to let you know that of the cast of 4 people, we lost 2 players in the last 24 hours. So please bear with us, but let me introduce to you the folks who are my intrepid cast tonight. John Dowds is a Boston-raised, Chicago-based public high school teacher, slugging it out in the trenches by day and eating pizza in the shadows by night. Though currently without any publications, his record for starting projects he hasn't finished yet is world-renowned and continually expanding, thanks in no small part to serving the public good, or something like that. He wrote those words. I would never say that about him. What I would say is he's a Columbia College graduate, another of my star pupils, and was a top-notch Gumbo Fiction Salon intern. I've also had the pleasure of workshopping with him, and his insightful comments were extremely helpful. His students are lucky to have him. Angeli Primlani, she, her, is a Chicago-based playwright, director, and actor who was a journalist once. She was writer and online editor for the Prague Post in the Czech Republic and the founding artistic director of Accidental Shakespeare Theatre Company. Her first novel, The Marlin of Prague, Christopher Marlowe and the City of Gold, was published in 2022. Her recent plays produced in Chicago include The Black Knight and Where the Fox and the Hare Say Goodnight. She is currently the special events manager for the Speculative Literature Foundation, and her cat Boo Boo lives in the wall. Angeli goes back to the Twilight Tales days. She has performed in the stage readings of a couple of my plays, and we've had many delightful, productive peer pressure writing sessions at the Lincoln Park Zoo. Filling in at the last moment, Michael Pencas. Mike has had 24 stories published. He wrote a novel, Mistress Bunny and the Canceled Client. Woo-woo. He's been part of Gumbo Fiction and Twilight Tales since 2004. Thank you, Michael. So, our cast, I will be both the narrator and the parasol twirling monkey who hates the 1930s gangster movies he loves so much. We have book reading monkey, a pompous professor emeritus at Simeon Central U, played by Angeli Primlani. Blue Dog from the world famous pop culture paintings by New Orleans artist George Rodrigo, played by John Downs. And Purple Monster Backpack from one of the Royal Street Arts and Crafts shops, played by Michael Pencas. If you walk, I say as a narrator, if you walk Royal Street in New Orleans of an evening, pause and exchange pleasantries with the brass monkeys lighting the street through a fancy shop's windows. They'll look up from their book or their jazz parasol and tell you, Royal Street is a richest terrain story, doll.
As the war of northern aggression raged on, once rich plantation owners short on cash relinquished their family heirlooms. Crystal chandeliers, real silverware, massive custom-built armoires, and formal dining tables of rare woods, Italian marble statues, and courtyard fountains, all imported
at great expense
from Europe to Royal Street shops.
They were trying to raise some cash. They were looking for some moolah. They needed the dough.
The precious pieces not parted with during the war
Or during Reconstruction.
were surrendered as the land was parceled up and sold off.
Descendants relocated, migrated, moved into houses so small those dining tables would take up 2 rooms.
As time went by, houses were built with closets. Bedrooms were too small to incorporate modern beds and antique armoires.
If you had the choice, what would you choose? Royal Street's still the place where the family heirlooms are left for loot. Antiquers across the country trek here for treasures.
National history lurks in every aisle. Family histories reside in each artifact. Classes ought to be taught in these stores.
Sometimes they are.
Woof there and hold your own leashes. Royal Street's more than antique furniture that no one can afford to ship home.
Shoot five, scat, scram, hit the bricks, pound the pavement.
Humans with horse houses big enough to house these treasures can afford.
They would take it in stride. They wouldn't bat an eye out. Wouldn't give it no second thought. They take it all in stride, I tell ya.
The shipping fees.
Paintings that you go for astronomical songs, dog.
We knew you back when you were just a local phenomenon created by Georges Rodriguez.
College kids bop you up for their dorm wall.
Gruff, I'll paw print my point. Art abounds on Royal, mostly paintings, but
They enforce no standards.
that's
Much of it is in time.
that's great. Art for anyone, art for everyone.
Crocheted voodoo dolls.
Say no more. Get the point? Enough said.
And a small statue store with a short purple monster backpack. Has a 3D face and snout and paws reaching out for you.
Kid must be new on the block. A greenhorn, a tenderfoot, a noob.
Good to meet ya. Royal Street is a gas, man. Blue Dog gave me a ride. They're introducing me to all the neighbors.
Go away.
To my knowledge, there's no song that romanticizes Royal Street.
Though Royal Street still exists, and Basin Street mostly doesn't.
Maybe musicians don't find it as emotionally compelling, at least historically.
Not much romance in selling your heirlooms or purchasing paintings and prints.
As it doesn't have a
Wrong again, Simeon. It's got bunches. Songs by Tuba Skinny, the Thomas Talbert Jazz Orchestra, Raul Reynoso, and...
No, none of them are in the Great American Song.
They're a bunch of upstarts, whippersnappers, Johnny-come-latelys.
Our poems devolved
Evolved.
into a play.
When the interlopers, encroachers, the Batinskis showed up.
Three growls for
Interlopers.
encroachers.
And butts.
This will have to suffice.
The end.